I can't believe it's Garden Arcana episode 6 already. This week it's the turn of the Tower, the Moon and the Star. Three cards again that in the Herbcrafters Tarot simply blew me away. We see mushrooms in the Tower, datura flowers in the Moon, and the cottonwood for the Star. The messages behind these three cards is just so touching, but on face value the datura for the Moon and the petals mimicking a moon cycle, and the mushrooms, I loved this. It immediately reminded me of these pieces of silver birch I put to one side, mushrooms now growing up them, an absolute mirror image of the card that I was looking at. And of course in this Star card of cottonwood, it's the night sky in the background that caught my attention, which took me of course straight to my night sky petunias, which this week are looking rather splendid for now. But it isn't with the dainty night sky petunias that I want to start, more in the chaos and the wildness of the other end of the garden. I'm starting with the Tower, and I knew immediately where I needed to take you for the Tower card. For at the top of the garden there is a tiny little concrete block. This was a seat that I placed here nearly a decade ago, my crying seat. It's called that because every day for 2 years solid I would sit here on this block and sob my heart out, put here at the very top of the garden so that the children would take a while to find me and I had time to pull myself together. Disbelief clinging to me at the destruction of my Tower. There is still chaos up here, but oh my goodness, me and the garden have come a long way, even if bindweed does still want to play. But as I look around up here from my crying seat, I can see the beauty up here. Even in the chaos there is amazing beauty, like the brambles are about to give me fruit and the bees love. There is often beauty hiding in amongst chaos. As the Tarot card in the Herbcrafters Tarot says, everything is food for growth. Let tragedy nourish the soil of rebirth. And that's what my garden did for me. It nourished me back to life after the Tower fell. Now for the Moon card I thought of the silver birch, the silver of the birch trunk. This is the little garden underneath the tree. The gate and the fence has been jumped on by Rupert so many times. We're about to have another Tower moment here if I don't do some work. I'm about to lose the fence and the gate and these pallets that haven't been painted. Look how wobbly it is. So I decided to start a moon garden, and in amongst the grass I found these silver spheres. I'd totally forgotten I'd got them. What a calling to the moon they were. There were houseplants lost under here. The wood avens here had just gone mad, and I'd lost the garden. So a moon garden was calling. I could see an old bedstead that I'd forgotten was here. That used to hold the fence up. But now I thought I might use this sewing table, thrifted for £15 from a good friend. It's very heavy. It's got a sewing machine inside. So I decided to yacht varnish it as a new support for behind the fence. So it was a week of yacht varnish and painting and clearing away wood avens. This is the only palette in the garden that I never painted, meaning to get to it. It's now been standing for years and is going to rot if I don't sort it out. Here I'm brushing cobwebs off, and an old birdhouse from my old life before the tower fell dropped out of the tree on me. It really made me emotional, this, all the memories of the children little hanging the birdhouse, all the hopes and dreams I had back then that came crashing down. This house kind of for me symbolised lost dreams. I put it to one side, and on a table that's constantly covered in sap from the silver birch, I decided to start painting. Immediately a spider ran into the paint. Here I am panicking, trying to wash a spider. Yes guys, trying to wash a spider in a tower moment. And after I start painting, I'm not sure I like it. It just seems so bright after decayed wood. But when I walk round the back, I love the way the paint matches the silver birch, and I remembered an old dream of always wanting a white picket fence with roses by it. An old dream. I decided I would make that dream come true. A white picket fence as a dance under the moon of celebration for surviving a tower moment. Let's make it happen. So I think before I can paint this is my step up and over. I think I need to clear out this bed, the brambles. Look, there are brambles seeping out. So I'm going to get in here, I'm going to clear the bed, and then I am going to paint this. I'm going to paint it this sort of stone white colour. And can I just say, the garden is just so full of birds at the minute. It's just so lovely. It's just birds flying backwards and forwards as I'm working, and it's just lovely. And I've discovered that it's Luna that digs, not Rupert, isn't it, baby? I think Luna is the digger. In fact, is she going to start digging there? She's watching me. I'm watching you, Luna. Look, there's some birds flying in now. Can you see them all? Such a beautiful day. I can't wait to get this spot under the tree nicer. Okay, let's start in there and work our way out. Oh my goodness, I absolutely love it. I didn't think I would love it quite so much, but it absolutely matches the colour of the silver birch, and it's my almost white picket fence, stone grey picket fence. We'll call it a white picket fence. I didn't like it at first, but oh my gosh, I love it now. And I love the fact that it stops here. This is still drying, so I'm going to leave this here. I've got another coat of yacht varnish to put on that tomorrow. I need at least another one coat on the back of here, probably 2 coats. Yeah, so it's really begun to feel like a little moon garden. It's brightened it up so much, so I think it almost looks prettier from the other side, which I can't believe. I thought it might look odd looking through this fence onto that fence, but look how pretty that looks. All the things that I've already got, it just seems to make it all pop. Which I love. You can see I've got all the weeds and the brambles out of here. Look at that. Isn't that just so cute? I am so happy with it. Proper start of a proper little moon garden. Oh, I love it. What do you think, Luna? What do you think? Hey? Yeah, so look at that. Oh, I'm just so amazed at the difference that has made. I love it. There's the ice cream van. And hot today. Rupert, I wouldn't lie there, mate. It's just so hot. so overwhelmed with how much I loved my white picket fence, I came in and I found this, and when I opened the box up and saw this beautiful tarot bag and this vintage linen, it just felt like my white picket fence in a box. This was actually a deck that I'd ordered from the lovely Andi Taylor. It's the Feel Your Chakras Oracle, the sticker edition. Here it is here in this little pot. I can't wait to share this with you. So I'd ordered this deck, but the linen that felt like my white picket fence and the bag, that was all a gift, as was this second deck. And when I read it, it said, her name is Viola, get to know her by playing her favourite song, Me and the Man in the Moon. The synchronicity of that is what made me cry. That felt like pure magic, that this new surprise deck that was a gift from Andi, that also looks like a oracle version of a white picket fence, should have a little note saying, hi, my favourite song is Me and the Man in the Moon. If ever there was a sign that it was the right place to make a moon garden and to believe in rebuilt dreams after tower moments, like claiming a white picket fence with roses as mine, regardless of whether my life actually feels like a white picket fence life, which it doesn't really, then this deck was it. And the whole synchronicity of it felt like strong, amazing magic that made me really, really cry. So thank you, Andi. I absolutely adore it so much. But then, of course, a tower moment with the weather. With fences still wet and yacht varnish still not dry, the weather turned. Thunder and lightning so apt for Tower Week. And hailstones in June, what on earth? And the next morning, goodness me, the garden was so soggy. Fences were kind of ruined, but in amongst it, again, so much beauty. So much beauty as long as you're prepared to look for it. Rosebuds looked bejewelled with water droplets, which I absolutely adored, and at least I hadn't had to water the garden. There were some casualties, however. The night sky petunias with their delicate flowers just couldn't cope with hail. But thank goodness within a day they were back to normal, healing and mending their broken pieces. Your broken pieces contain the stars of hope, says the star card in the Herbcrafters tarot. So for me, this part of the garden I think sums up the energy of that hopeful healing energy of the star. Of course, that angel near the water tap is right next to lavender. Lavender is such a good plant for healing our broken pieces. Again, all of this part of the garden is thrifted. The angel, the window, the mirror, the pots, the tyres, the Belfast sink. And in the sink, Fever View has opened this week. I love this little flower, and for me it really does look like a starry night. Every element of this little piece of garden for me is star card energy. And of course it all sits under a canopy of climbing roses, which really now have started to open. I think this is my very favourite time of year when the roses open. Nothing surpasses for me the roses, although I probably say that about every flower as it opens. But look at this. And the roses have a strange story. When I first built my crying seat and my life imploded and the start of a horrific 5-year divorce began, my roses stopped blooming. It was as if they were picking up on my energy and said they would just wait for me. And wait for me they did, with their star-encased buds here. They didn't bloom for 4 years straight. And on the 5th year, when my divorce finalised, one day I opened the garden door and all the roses were in bloom again, as if they'd held their breath alongside me, whispering, "We'll wait, we'll do this together." That's the magic held in these beautiful, beautiful roses that have been a part of my life now for about 8 years. Newer to me, this is the fuchsia that Tilly picked a few weeks ago, and look at the star-shaped bloom on that. This a shooting star, I think, with more blooms to open. What a spectacular feast for the eye. Oh dear, one coat of yacht varnish and it got wrecked. Never mind. In the greenhouse, another gardener's starry night. This all star energy too. These are all zinnias, and although a few back tubs have been eaten by the slugs, look how many flowers I have to plant up in the coming weeks. These are Aquilegia. They're just beginning to appear. These are, not sure, I've forgotten. And these are all different types of sunflowers. I love the way that the seedlings look like stars in a dark night sky against the soil. And the rosemary has just started to appear as well. This is going to be fun in the next few days to get into the garden. And also, in this part of the garden, more fox and cubs have appeared. It really is spreading everywhere. And this plant, which I planted a few years ago, is having a spectacular bloom this year. All of these little pink flowers to me look like stars as well. And the bumblebees love it. Furry bottom shot. Here we go. When I first started this channel, the aim was to share my garden, and I would start my videos with the phrase, "To plant a garden is to believe in tomorrow." So I think in amongst all these starry flowers and starry seedlings, even the whole ethos of planting a garden is about hope and healing and a belief in tomorrow and a new dawn. The whole garden for me has been my portal to healing, and the star card, even when rain stops play and there is chaos on the path, even then. As well as another storm rolling in. This was the pattern of this week. The weather really demanded to be the tower energy. This the second night that the heat had built through the day and a thunder and lightning storm rolled in. Unexpected hailstorms, late frosts, droughts. The weather can certainly be tarot card energy in a garden. I hope the roses don't crash down in this. It's time to go and put the greenhouse to bed and batten down the hatches for sure. Come on, let's go in, it's fine. Come on. Oh baby, all the hair's up on your back, you're okay? Alright. Come on, you're right, Should we go in? Come on then. Let's go in. Oh, darling. Come on, let's go in. Come on, in we go. But we survived the storms. In a week where tarot card energy is in play, there was so much lightning, but also so much beauty. Even the marigolds decided to open, which in this garden is rare. I also decided to move that table, no more washing tree sap off it, it's much better here. And as for those fences and the yacht varnishing of the sewing table, that continued when the storms stopped. And finally my moon garden looks like this. I decided not to use the sewing table in the end, instead a new Theia stack and some new plants too. And yes, in the Theia stack that is a brand new rose, which is so exciting. I could not resist this. It looks like an old-fashioned dog rose, but it is a climbing rose with the most glorious smell. I cannot wait for it to climb. And then I got a full moon grass and a dark black heuchera for the new moon. I just love my little moon garden. And okay, this still all needs jet washing, but look at my white picket fence with roses. Dreams really can be rebuilt after the tower falls. And hey, collect the bricks as well. You could even build yourself a nice little rockery. But I love my moon garden. And as for that sewing table, well, that ended up somewhere else. But that's the story for another video. So thank you guys so much for joining me again for Garden Arcana. Thank you for walking the garden with me this week. It's so appreciated.